We're working on a 2015 Buick LaCrosse today. Getting ready to change the engine air filter and the cabin air filter. A couple of the things you'll be needing today are an STP air filter, SA10685, and an STP cabin air filter, CAF1872 Papa. You're going to need a Torx head and a flathead. Follow me and I'll show you how to pop the hood. Open up the door here, and usually off to the bottom left here on any vehicle there is a hood release latch here. You pull that up, you'll hear a thud. Shut your door. Come on over this way. And if I bring this up, there's a little latch in here that I can just flick off to the right, and it opens the hood. Now looking at an engine, it can be very daunting. So that's why we're going to start off with some of the smaller things today. First thing you're going to do is grab your Torx head. You have 1, 2, 3, and 4 screws. We're going to go ahead and back those all out. Alright, now that we have all those out, this should move quite easily. Alright, now that it moves freely, what you want to do is you want to take this red tab, pull it out. You will hear it click. Press down on the black button, pull out. Once you do that, you want to take your screwdriver. You want to pop out your Torx head. Come back over and you grab your flat tip. You'll change them out unless you have a flat tip screwdriver. And there is a banding clamp on here that holds this tight to their housing. You will unscrew to loosen that up, and then you'll gently move these apart. As you see, this pops right up and right out. Here's the old air filter. As you can see, it's quite dirty. You got debris all over. And then if you open up these fins here, you can see all the dirt and debris that it has caught instead of letting it go into any of your engine components. Now we will unbox the other one. You do not have to go with the STP brand. It was just something our local AutoZone was carrying, so I picked it up. If you turn this over, as you see, as a comparison, the difference of yellowing, blackening from all the debris, and zero bugs in this one. It's always a plus. Now, before you actually install this, you see all this debris that is down in here that has been stopped from going up into your actual engine. What you want to do is you want to get a vacuum. You want to put it down on here and suck all this debris out. One of the biggest things that an air filter actually does is it goes ahead and stops all the debris from coming through the outside of the car into your engine. So whenever you actually have a lot of buildup into the air filter compartment, what you want to do is you want to get you a little vacuum, a little shop vac. So I purchased a 40-gallon Craftsman, and for your sake and not having to hear a vacuum run, I went ahead and sucked out all the debris in here. So now what you're looking at is a complete and clean air filter compartment. Now what you want to do is, there's no specific way to put this in. If you can put a square into a square hole, you're good to go, right? So what you want to do is you want to just put this down in here. Make sure that it fits nice and snug. Make sure that everything fits properly. Then you want to grab your plastic compartment. Over here, you will see that there are 2 lips. And down in here, there are 2 compartments to actually slide those lips into. What you want to do is you want to bring those back in here, and then they hinge right down on there. Got to give it a little bit of tough love. She slides right back on there. There you go. Now what you want to do is you want to go ahead and change out your flat tip real quick. for each Torx head. Reason for this is to make sure that everything fits snug before you actually tighten up that housing, or before you tighten up the band clamp on the rubber grommet that goes onto the engine. That way you know that everything is sitting properly. There's one screw. What you want to do to make sure that you get a proper seal at the very end, make sure that there's no lips, just in case. There's been a few times where I've left that open not realizing it, and you can get dirt past that through your hose and into your engine. Last step that you want to take here to tighten everything down is tighten this band clamp. Give it a couple turns here. Once you start feeling a little bit of resistance, go ahead and slow down. Make sure that everything's nice and snug. There's a key here and a key here. Make sure that they're fit properly. Now that everything is on there, one last final step. Bring your mass airflow sensor right down in here. Slide it in, you hear the click. And you want to press the red grommet back down in there. Now you're good to go. You have now changed your engine air filter. Good job. On to the second half. We have the cabin air filter that's right here behind the glove compartment. Underneath you will find 4 bolts. They're all 7mm sockets. And I have that attached to a 1/4 inch wrench. What you want to do is you want to remove all 4 of those before you proceed on to your next step, which is opening the glove compartment and removing all 3 bolts that are located right here. What we'll do is we'll move on to the ones below. Show you first. We have one here and here. Then you go to your left side and you have one located right there and right there. Sit back and watch as I remove all 4. There's 4. You open up in here. And 3. All right, next step is to go ahead and remove this bottom piece. As you remove it down, just let it hang. You'll grip up under here onto the tan portion, and you'll pull the glove compartment down ever so slightly. As it pops loose, don't be afraid. Sounds like it's going to break plastic. Sometimes it might. Alright, whenever you get it to this portion, do not let it drop. Otherwise, you will rip that wire out. There's a wire attached to a light in here to where whenever you open, it turns the light on. And then you have visibility inside your glove compartment. What you want to do is right back here, there's a little plastic piece. You want to push in on it. That way it releases. As you can see, it's about ready to release. Pop down into the glove compartment. Turn it sideways, pull it out. Piece inside sits just like this. That way it can actually hook into the glove compartment piece. Now, what you want to do is you want to press in on this little black button right here and pull up. That way you don't burn your bulb out. Next step is all the way in the back. This is where your cabin air filter will sit. Now there are tabs here, here, and here. You want to press all those tabs out and pull down. There's your cabin air filter. Notice whenever I open that, the airflow points down. Make sure that whenever you return this air filter back, that is exactly how you put the new one in. Now, you'll stick your finger right up in here, and voila. That is how you pull out the cabin air filter. Now, let me go get the new one. That way you can see the difference. Now that we have the new cabin air filter, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and unbox it. Go ahead, take the plastic wrap off, set that off to the side. Now, if these are both side by side, you can tell the complete difference. One's got a bunch of debris. It's all blackened on the inside from all the road grime, dust, and dirt. On this one, it's all good to go. Everything's clean. Now, once you look onto this side, you will see the arrows. They point down, just like how we uninstalled the last cabin air filter. So we want to make sure that we put it in the same exact way we pulled it out. Just like this. You'll take it, put it right up into the side here. Then you'll slowly push it to the back, making sure not to get snagged on anything. Next step, you want to lift this filter casing up. You'll hear it click. You want to make sure it's clicked on that side and on that side. Once you hear it all, once it clicks on all three sides, you're good to go. Next step, don't forget your light. We placed it down here. What you'll want to do is go ahead and install that first. Then you'll go ahead and hook this up second. I find it easier. That way you're not fumbling around, and if you accidentally drop it, then you can pull a wire. So what we'll do, slide this down in there, just like this. Make sure that this portion is towards the back. You want to pull this side up in there first, so it grasps. That side clicks. Also, you want to make sure that whenever you insert the light here, that this black push rod right here is through this hole. That way, whenever you open and close it, it turns on and off the light. Next step, plug the light source back in. Just like this. You'll hear it click. Now that your light source is on, you can go ahead and close your glove compartment. You want to make sure that everything fits just as snug as it did when you pulled it out. Make sure everything's lined up properly. Then you'll push it into place. Now that everything's in there, next step, you'll come down here and you'll notice there's tabs. Make sure that they line up into the positions down here. You will see that there are holes all along the front of this. What you want to do is make sure that each one of those plastic clevises line up with that. Once they line up with it, you'll hear them click into place. One, two, three. Now that all those are in place, we'll go ahead and replace all 7 screws that we took out to begin with. Starting with the 3 on the inside. I like to go ahead and start each one. That way that I know I got all my holes lined up properly. And if not, I can go ahead and make adjustments. Once I know that all of them are lined up properly, I take my 7mm socket and I go ahead and tighten them down to snug. On to the next two. I'm going to start off by the one on the right. It's in the tan hole. Get it started. Go to the one to the left in the tan hole. Get it started as well. Now we'll go ahead and tighten them down. Last but not least, the last two screws go into the bottom cover. Start with the one on the right, then go to the one on the left. They both line up properly, so we'll start tightening them down. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. This way now you know how to actually change a cabin air filter and an engine air filter. Go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.